What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to yet another night of spooky videos. This is also going to be a mixed bag. Probably not going to be as long. Well, that depends on, it depends on the subject matter and, my yapping capabilities. But anyways, we got a few videos tonight. This first one, we're going to start it off with a horror short. It is called Out There by, I think it's Played Shirt Films. Let's jump into it.
Hey, did you see this?
No, that's weird.
Yeah.
Are Stu and Casey coming over?
They're supposed to. Let me call them real quick.
Not gonna hold you. This is a nice house, bro. But if I'm being honest, this does look like one of those. I don't know if you guys know it. In California, in LA, they have a. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a. You know how you got trailer parks and stuff like that. Well, there's an area in LA where there's a bunch of buildings that they build out to look like stream rooms like this, and like streamers can rent them out, and content creators can rent them to do like specific videos and stuff. So this does kind of remind me of that. I would say this: it doesn't look lived in. You know what I'm saying? Now I did see the cobwebs on the light fixture, but again, it doesn't look lived in. Also,
What's out there?
hey, you hear one knock on the door, like they don't come up and go. No, they come up and go. One knock, and you go open the door to see who it is. Listen, if somebody comes and knocks on my door with one knock, I'm checking the peephole, and if I don't recognize you, I'm calling the police. Simple as that.
Nothing.
I was just about to say, did my man just come appear out of nowhere? Lock the door. No.
Must have been the wind.
Yeah, right. The wind. The wind.
Casey, what are you?
Close the door. What's going on? Casey.
Casey, what are you doing? Are you okay?
Someone was following me. Do you know who? I've been having this reoccurring dream, or maybe it's not a dream, I don't know, but I'm in my room and there's a man by the door watching me.
This is a dream.
Yeah, or I don't know, but all I know is that he followed me here.
The dream man.
I'm not gonna hold you. Like, this kind of brings the Resident Evil 1 vibes, so I like it. You know, it's got like the calm music, but with the ominous threat outside. Cause you know how when you step into the mansion, when you got the dogs outside, right? You first step into the mansion, or when you step into a save room in the mansion, and you hear that da, 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 and then it goes ba ba da, 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 and it's like, okay, I could take some refuge here, but there's a danger outside. You know? And this is kind of giving me that vibe.
You don't believe me.
I believe that somebody followed you, but You're over here talking about ghosts and
Jack, don't go out there.
I'm just gonna take a quick look.
No, Jack, maybe that's not a good idea.
It's a nice neighborhood. I'm gonna have to ask
Sue,
though.
Get over here.
I'm gonna have to ask. What's with these sound effects? Like, was that supposed to be a horse trotting?
Here. Casey's inside talking about somebody following her over here. Wasn't you, was it?
Why even care?
What are you saying, man?
There is no reason to try. There is no reason to care. They get what they want when...
Start running. Listen, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care, like, he's just walking towards you spouting nonsense. Go back inside, shut the door, lock it.
They get what they... is no reason to try. There is no reason to care. They get what they want when they want. And they have control over us, and something has control over them. Give up.
Now, I have to make sure, was that my PC? Or was that part of the video?
Over us, and something has control over them. Give up.
He shouldn't have gone out there. What's taking him so long?
I'm gonna go see what's happening.
No.
This is a big mistake, but if you don't turn up, if you don't about face, right? If you do not about face and open that curtain and look outside, because that's all he did was walk out towards the street. You do not have to go out there after him.
Casey, don't go out there.
I have to make sure he's okay.
You know, we gotta get rid of this monkey see, monkey do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you chilling with your friends, right, and you hear a gunshot, and your friend is like, you know, I'm gonna go check outside and see what's going on, and you're like, nah, bro, stay here. And he's like, it's gonna be cool, bro. Don't worry, I'm gonna look out. I'm gonna make sure I'm alright. And they go out the front door, right? Why would you go out after them? Especially her. She was the one who came running inside in the first place. Why would you go back out there? If you know what the danger is out there and your friends that aren't listening to you, let them go out there and see for themselves.
Cindy? See, there's nothing out here.
Not gonna hold you. I don't even know what the entity was. But that was kind of creepy. To have the big old moon come showing up, that was creepy. That was good. That was pretty good. Save for the one, language usage. But for a horror short, I think that was pretty good. It left you wondering, like, what's out there, and what makes it even more ominous is that it's not a zombie. It's not something you can see. Apparently, these are creatures that, make you glitch in reality. Interesting. Very good. Very good. Next video. Alright, so this next video is called 11:55 p.m. And it is by a channel that wait a minute. Canimif something Factory TV. Let's check it out.
사장님, 전에 얘기하던 거랑 다르시잖아요. 아니, 이만한 걸 어떻게 다시 합니까? 그렇다면 시간이라도 좀 주시던가요. 반나절이라니요. 그럴 거면 미리 말씀을 해주셨어야죠. 아니, 못하겠다는 게 아니라 갑자기 말씀을 바꾸시니까 제가 황당해서 그렇죠. 네, 자정까지 해서 넘겨드릴게요. 네, 들어가세요. 네. 진짜 짜증나.
Why would you leave your phone in the car? Look at this joke. Are those like mini offices? Bro, I'm not gonna hold you. If offices were like that in the US, I would be down for that. Like, I would take that over cubicles any day. To be able to shut yourself off into that small space where you could just dig in and do your work, I would take that any day, bro, over cubicles. Nope, call the cops. I'm not gonna hold you. If you open that door, you deserve to die. You've got all the warning you need right here. There's a hooded figure covering his face, ringing my doorbell. If this is a building, call security. If this is your home, call the police. But if you open that door, you deserve death.
저기요, 집 잘못 오신 것 같은데요?
How is this not enough to call the cops? How is this not enough? Even if he leaves, you got it on video right here.
아, 진짜. 아저씨, 여기 아저씨 집 아니니까 돌아가세요. 뭐야, 진짜. 아저씨 자꾸 이러면
That's right. You stupidly left your phone in the car. I completely forgot about that. And apparently she said this is her home. If this is your home, why would you leave your phone in the car? Unless you had a landline, which obviously you don't. Why would you leave your phone in the car? You know, I don't know if this is true or not, but I was told back in the day that it doesn't matter if your phone has service or not. Again, this is, like I said, I don't know if it's true. I never tried it. But this person claimed if you dial 911 on a phone that doesn't even have service, you will still get emergency response. So you mean to tell me you don't have nobody on your computer you can text or send a message to and be like, hey, bro, can you send the police to my apartment? My phone is in my car, and there's a stranger with a hoodie in my front door. I can't get out. Can you please call the police and tell them to come to my location? You can't do that on your PC? What is there to be scared about? Like, no cap. Look, he's not trying to. I could see this panic if he was trying to break the door down. But right now, you should be taking this time to try to contact somebody via that PC rather than crying, because you got the door blocking you now. Like, not to mention this dude's a pipsqueak. Grab this lamp or one of that toaster over there, and wait for him. As soon as he break the door down, you rock his head off. That's even better. A knife is even better. If you open that door, I hope he kills you. If you open that door, I hope he slaughters you with the very knife you have in your hand. I am so sick and tired of the illogical behavior of the main characters in these horror movies. Listen, he can't get to you right now. The one thing you should do is wait in ambush. You got the bolt lock here, so what if the keypad doesn't work? Because you have the bolt lock here, he can't just knock the door down. It's going to have to take at least 2 or 3 hours of hitting it first with something like a battering ram for someone his size. If you open that door and try to stab him, I hope he riposts. I hope he repels your attack and destroys you. I that's just how I feel right now. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I see that this says 11:55 p.m. dash 2. So it's probably a continuation. But that was just, in my opinion, that was not a horror movie at all. I don't know how that figure got in the apartment because the bolt was locked still. So even if the keypad doesn't work, it would not change the bolt lock. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not. Now that was intriguing though. Urban legend about night shift. But honestly speaking, I was not intrigued enough by the first one to watch the second part. You know what I'm saying? So, next video. Now, this video is called Night Shift, and it says Urban Legend Story of Night Shift. I'm not familiar with any urban legends revolving around a night shift. Let me see. Urban legend about night shift. Urban legends about the night shift often center on isolation, fear of the unknown, and paranormal encounters in empty, high-stress environments like hospitals, factories, or gas stations. So I don't know why it would be in an office, but let's check it out. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like, this is horrible. What on earth? So this is an FPS view, huh? Gonna walk down 12 flights of stairs? I mean, I guess that wasn't half bad, but again, the logic there doesn't make sense. If I know I'm in this office building by myself and I hear somebody knocking on the door every time I look up there, the lights go out, I'm not stopping till I get to the first floor and get in my car. Bro, first of all, I'm not stopping at the sound of the door knocking. I'm just going to keep walking. But so far, the first one out there, Out There is the top one of this group so far, in my opinion. Alright, next video. Alright, so this next one actually might be the last one, depending on, if there's a humongous yap session about it or not. But this is called Celebrity Conspiracy Theory Iceberg. And supposedly with these iceberg type things, it's like the tip of the iceberg. Like, you know how, let's say, for example, you see Goku turn Super Saiyan. And you're like, wow, that's powerful. And he goes, well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So all you really see at the surface is the tip of the iceberg, but really underneath the water is much bigger than that. All right? So basically, it starts with like conspiracy theories that are like, what? And then the more deeper you get into the iceberg, the deeper the conspiracy. That's how the iceberg works. But this one is about celebrity conspiracy theories. Let's check it out. Oh, and it is by Parapsych TV.
Hey guys, welcome back to Parapsych TV, where today we'll be diving back into the Celebrity Conspiracy Theory Iceberg, a series where we explore the dark corners of Hollywood and dig up the disturbing secrets of the world's most famous celebrities. From conspiracy theories, to bizarre scandals and open secrets, to chilling and infamous crimes. So strap in and buckle up, because this is about to get weird. Oh, and before we get started, if you don't mind, could you please hit the like.
And I have to say, that one about Heath Ledger and Mary-Kate Olsen, I'm just like, bro, if that was weird. That one was weird.
Throughout 2017 and early 2018, Sacha Baron Cohen, famous for his zany character performances in movies like Borat and The Dictator, was filming a new project titled Who is America? The show set out to have Cohen, once again disguised as various outlandish characters, interview and spotlight various people in America, from the most infamous to the completely unknown. But during the production of the show, Cohen would seemingly uncover an extremely disturbing criminal organization, and things got really weird. In an interview about the show, given to Deadline in late 2018, Cohen describes the twisted situation that was eventually cut from the show. The production was filming the show in Las Vegas, with Cohen disguised as Gio Maldonado, a fake Italian billionaire playboy, fashion photographer from Milan persona. Cohen, as Gio, was speaking with the hotel concierge and was attempting to catch a comedic moment by talking about Harvey Weinstein's legal trouble. When the moment didn't quite pay off, Cohen, in his own words, pivoted to extreme comedy. Cohen implied to the concierge that he had an inappropriate relationship with a young boy. He believed revealing this would cause an extreme reaction, but it didn't. In fact, the concierge remained completely calm and stayed seated in the room. Cohen told Deadline, "We thought that the guy would leave the room. Instead, this concierge stays in the room and I go, listen, you've got to help me get rid of a problem." This guy starts advising Gio how to get rid of the issue. We even at one point talk about murdering the boy, and the concierge is just saying, well, listen, I'm really sorry. In this country, we can't just drown the boy. This is America. We don't do that. Cohen went on to explain how the concierge offered to connect him with a lawyer to silence the boy, but that wasn't the end of it either. His character next inquired if the concierge could fetch him a date. The concierge asked him what kind of date. Gio responded that his date should be lower than bar mitzvah but older than 8. And the concierge reportedly replied, yeah, I can put you in touch with somebody who can get you some boys like that.
You know me, I'm a little... In order for me to get the full understanding, I gotta know, what is a bar mitzvah? A Jewish coming of age ceremony for boys at age 13. Making the transition to religious adulthood, responsibility for their actions. It typically involves the boy reading from the Torah during a synagogue service, followed by a celebratory party. Okay, that is disturbing.
Footage they had just captured took such an extremely dark and unsettling turn, Cohen and the production team weren't really sure what to do next. But eventually the team sent the footage to the good old FBI. Upon not hearing anything back, Cohen's team reached out to the FBI to find out any information they could about the subsequent investigation, only to be told that there wouldn't be one. The FBI had decided not to pursue Cohen's case. Sacha Baron Cohen found this to be surprising, as the concierge had said he'd worked for politicians and various billionaires. But if anything, that shouldn't be surprising at all. Today's video is all about disturbing and unsolved mysteries. But you know what shouldn't be a mystery? Your health. That's why I need to tell you about the sponsor of this video, ZocDoc. My sponsor ZocDoc is a free clicks. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments. Go to ZocDoc/parasite. The link is also in the description. In the early hours of May 18th, 2017, acclaimed singer-songwriter Chris Cornell was found dead in his Detroit, Michigan hotel.
Okay, bro. That has to be terrifying. If you was this Cone guy, right? You discover a dude actually, not only is the dude like, yeah, I can hook you up with these underage individuals, but if you want to get rid of this guy, in America, you can't kill the boy through drowning. So I can hook you up with a lawyer that can get him to keep his mouth shut. And then you say, okay, this has got to be something like illegal, right? And he sends it to the FBI, again, if this is true. He sends it to the FBI, and the FBI is like, yeah, we're not going to do anything about that. You got to be thinking to yourself, bro, what did I... Actually, not what did I step into, but what did I narrowly escape from? Because again, from what I understand, the dude was just joking, right? And turns out he walked into an actual ring?
Room. He had performed with his band, Audioslave, just hours earlier at the Fox Theater. The music world was shocked and saddened by the loss of a living legend who had allegedly died by... Another rock icon, Chester Bennington, of Linkin Park fame, was extremely close with Chris, and even the godfather to Chris's son. On the day of Cornell's funeral, Chester sang Hallelujah as a eulogy to his friend. 2 months later, on Chris Cornell's birthday, Chester was found dead. He had also allegedly committed suicide. Chester Bennington struggled with depression throughout his life, stemming from a difficult childhood marked by parental divorce and abuse. These experiences led to trauma, substance abuse, and ultimately battles with depression. Chris Cornell struggled with depression throughout his life, even experiencing severe depression as a teenager. He also battled addiction to alcohol and drugs, which he said intensified his depression, and had publicly discussed his struggles on many occasions. So at first, nobody really questioned the two deaths happening in such quick succession, especially with how close the two were. And Chester passing away on Chris's birthday seemed to reinforce the idea that Chris's death tipped the scale for his friend. But the next year, 2 more celebrity deaths would lead to an extremely disturbing conspiracy theory, and Chester's possible ties to one of the most powerful men in politics would begin to surface. On April 18th, 2018, massively influential EDM artist Avicii, real name Tim Bergling, was found dead in his resort hotel room in Oman. And like the year before, 2 months later, on June 8th, another beloved celebrity, Chef Anthony Bourdain, was dead. Both deaths were ruled as suicides, and both deaths were heavily scrutinized by conspiracy theorists and fans alike. According to theorists, Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell, Avicii, and Anthony Bourdain were all working on exposing human trafficking via a documentary called Silent Children, this endeavor leading to all 4 of them being taken out to silence them and derail the project. Keep in mind, in the time after the death of all 4 of these stars, there was a lot of speculation about the possibility that they were murdered, and not just by crazy fans and conspiracy theorists. Chester's sister posted this photo in memory, referencing Epstein and clearly inferring that she believed there had...
Hold on, she said, is it a coincidence that all these people died by hanging themselves? I'm beginning to wonder just how deep this hashtag Epstein debacle goes. How many more will die by suicide before the authorities take this seriously? Hashtag what? Bill Clinton body count. You know what's interesting? She mentions hashtag Epstein, right? Wasn't Epstein uh, taken the same way, according to official reports?
Been some foul play, even using the hashtag Bill Clinton body count. In the years since, she has either deleted and reposted the
You could choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill. I would choose a path that's clear. I would choose free will. Rush. This was one of the first songs I saw my baby brother perform in front of an audience. He sang at one of my high school's dances after a football game. It was fantastic to see the reaction to this 12-year-old kid belting out Geddy Lee. Still for the pride and all. He said you could choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill.
photo or edited the caption. His sister also made claims about Mike Shinoda having some kind of dark secret and made several posts insinuating that she would be revealing the truth. After which, according to her Twitter was deleted to silence her. In August of 2018,
You don't know what I don't understand about stuff like this. Like, there's some celebrities now the Epstein files have come out. Like, millions of Epstein files have come out. There's some celebrities now that are like, oh yeah, in the coming days, I'm going to be revealing this and this and this and this. I'm like, it makes people think you're doing this for content when you don't just, like, you realize these are serious crimes. And you're withholding that information and releasing it piece by piece rather than just releasing what you know, right? What you supposedly or allegedly know. So it's like you're keeping silent on these serious crimes, federal crimes, and releasing them piece by piece. Why?
she checked herself into a hospital to receive mental health care, and she has seemingly backed away from making any claims about her brother's death. Another detail that helped form the theory was this photo collage, comparing photos of Chester Bennington with photos of this man, American political consultant John Podesta. John and his brother Tony Podesta are infamous among conspiracy theory enjoyers for many reasons. To name a few, John and Tony Podesta bear a resemblance to police sketches of suspects in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann from a vacation home in Portugal in May of 2007. There was also a female suspect sketched by police. Does this person look familiar? The Podestas are heavy hitters in DC, both having worked with the Clintons for decades, and John being implicated in, at the very least, some fairly unethical political manipulation.
I could be dumb, but who is this supposed to look like?
Does this person look familiar? The Podestas are heavy hitters in DC, both having worked with the Clintons for decades, and John being implicated in, at the very least, some fairly unethical political manipulation during the WikiLeaks Hillary Clinton email scandal in 2015. And Tony has an absolutely unhinged taste in art, owning some of the most disgusting art I've ever seen. There are reasons that the conspiracy community ties the Podestas to criminal acts.
You don't have to put the art up there, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know you X'd out the majority of it, but you know, people are still able to see some of it. 1, 2, you ain't gotta look, man, you ain't gotta do all that. Like that's one of the issues I have with a lot of movies today. It's like, oh, we got, like, with movies and TV shows, right, where you got couples that have kids, and it's like, oh, we're gonna take this time to show you a scene. Like, we're gonna show you a scene of this couple in the shower together. And it's like, bro, we see they got kids. We know they're not just platonic. They got kids. We don't need to see that. We're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and you take time to show, you know what, that's another thing for another day. Let's keep going.
And although no hard evidence has ever been provided, the Podestas were a major focus of the pizza-related conspiracy theory scandal in 2016. Chester Bennington was...
There was actually a Law and Order episode on that pizza thing. Because if I'm not mistaken, someone actually raided a pizza parlor with a automatic rifle, thinking that they were trafficking people in the back areas. And they were demanding to see the back areas. And it's like, bro, look, man. It's hard to be like, this is just conspiracy when you have so many things being revealed nowadays that you thought were just conspiracies, but they turn out to be true. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to be like, bro, why, don't just take it as fact. It's just a conspiracy. But even if it is true, like, you can't just pull up with an automatic rifle and make demands, bro. Like, you don't have that pass.
Handed about the abuse that he suffered at the hands of a family friend as a child. So with that information, the rumors about the Podestas, and this image all coming together, it was a perfect set of circumstances for a disturbing conspiracy theory. There's also a theory about the band name, Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park was a neighborhood within CFB Calgary in Canada, a military base with some kind of ties to MK Ultra. But as far as I know, this is a simple mix-up. There was an MK Ultra base in Canada, but the Canadian program that allegedly took place in MK Ultra was the DRDC in Toronto. Look it up. It's real. Silent Children was a documentary project and fundraiser aimed at exposing high-profile individuals implicated in the child human trafficking industries. But according to Reuters, a spokesperson for the project said, "None of the people involved in this conspiracy theory were ever involved in our project, and we were never remotely in contact with them. Our project and its website was a well-meaning attempt to make people aware of a serious problem. We never got further than what was on the website, and we are not able to raise funding to move forward." According to this mysterious spokesperson, the project was shelved in January of 2017, just a few months before Chris Cornell's passing, and these quotes were given for a 2020 Reuters fact-checked article about the theory. Interestingly, when they were approached for comment by Reuters, the spokesperson said the website was still up years later, but it was in the process of being taken down. Avicii's inclusion in the theory was predicated on his final song and music video clearly being about the child exploitation industry. But this wasn't his final song or music video. It actually came out around 3 years before his death. I believe Bourdain's inclusion was based on two factors: his manner of death being the same as Chester and Chris, hanging from a doorknob, and his close relationship to Asia Argento, a powerful voice in the Me Too movement, who would later be exposed for grooming and eventually assaulting a minor who had played her son in a 2004 film. That scandal played out very publicly just after Bourdain's tragic death. So yes, Chester Bennington did bear a resemblance to John Podesta, and there was a canceled documentary called Silent Children about human trafficking, but I couldn't find any evidence that any of these four celebrities were linked to it at any time. All four men led very high pressure, very complicated lives, with a ton of well-documented struggles with anxiety, depression, and substance abuse. And when you really begin to dig into this theory, it just doesn't seem to stand up to any sort of scrutiny. I do have a lingering question though. Why did anyone that came up with this theory even know the name Silent Children, if the project never received any funding and never even started production? Was there at one time more evidence tying Chris or Chester or Tim or Anthony to the project? If there was, it's gone now.
You are not alone.
On April 23rd, 2023, Jamie Foxx's daughter shared a post to Instagram saying, "We wanted to share that my father, Jamie Foxx, experienced a medical complication yesterday. Luckily, due to quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery." According to TMZ, Jamie Foxx experienced a medical emergency and was rushed to the hospital.
You know what somebody needs to do? Somebody needs to investigate TMZ. Now, from what I heard, it's as simple as they're willing to pay top dollar for information. So people go to them first. Right? But when I first heard about Kobe Bryant's incident, TMZ reported on it first. They were the first ones I heard report about it. And they, for some reason, are able to report about a lot of things first before even the mainstream media gets their hands on it. Now, most people claim that it's because they pay so much money to get this information and be the first to put it out there. You know, but me personally, I'm just like, bro, something's up. There's no way you're the first to report on so many things. Well, I won't say first because, there might be some local networks that report on stuff, but like, You explain it to me. How are they able to report on stuff so soon?
On April 10th. His condition was bad enough that many of his family members traveled from out of town to see him at the hospital. The ears of many a conspiracy theory enjoyer perked up, as Jamie Foxx had been candid about Kanye West's run-in with the medical care system, basically being hospitalized against his will and force-fed psychiatric drugs. Quote, when Kanye talked about the drugs, the mental drug, I've had an episode of that. When he was talking about I went in for 2 pills and then 7 pills, that's real. In years prior, he had also joked about P. Diddy's flavor camp, in which Diddy had a young, underage usher sleeping in his bed for a month.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what
camp.
it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In
to...
the 90s, do you understand what that's like? Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't
But
say
you
that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
And allegedly, something similar happened between Diddy and Justin Bieber.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy.
I will say this. When he first came on the scene, everybody that I knew, everybody in the area could not stand this dude, this kid. They couldn't stand him. And I think the reason being is because so many girls went crazy over Justin Bieber. Like, that's all they ever talked about was Justin Bieber. From the cheerleaders to the debaters to the mean girls. All they ever talked about was Justin Bieber. And it got on their nerves, bro.
They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing.
And I just have to ask, what's with the name though? What's with the name? Flavor Camp? I don't understand what's up with that name. Like, it seemed like to me that, but the only thing from P. Diddy that I ever watched was, I forgot the name of the show now, but it was a show where he would put bands together. Like, he put a boy band together. He put 2 boy bands together and 1 girl band together. Like, it was a reality show. And they had to prove to him that they could make and sell records. And if they got enough hits, he would give them a record deal or whatnot. I forgot the name of it, but it was like American Idol, but rather than thousands of people auditioning, it was like groups, boy and girl groups.
We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal.
Another thing I find kind of weird is that they're getting custody signed over to them. He's 15 here, right? And someone signed over custody of him? Like, the love of money, I see why it is considered the root of all evil. Not considered, is the root of all evil. Like, the fact that you would sign over your child to a celebrity in the hopes that he becomes a millionaire and gives you money is crazy. Like, if you turn 18 to 21 years old and you want to pursue a career in music, that's fine. I'm gonna make sure you know what it's like, though. And I'm not talking about conspiracies. I'm talking about actual experiences that were told by people who experienced it. Not only that, but there are people now who are coming out who've been in the music industry and telling what they've experienced. Right? If you want to be in the music industry, and I'm not beyond believing that it's just in like hip hop music. It's gotta be in rock music. It's even in gospel. I don't even think gospel music is devoid of it. You know, there's certain things, certain like for one, your dignity. You're gonna have to give up your dignity and your self-respect if you want to be big in these industries. It's unfortunate. Like, you know what? I was gonna mention something that I witnessed this week that it pretty much let me know that someone who's on the up and up is they, and I don't even know if they realize they did it, but they sent out a signal letting the powers that be, quote unquote, know that they're willing to sell out for the fame and the fortune. It sent out a signal letting them know, hey, I'm willing to give up my dignity, my self-respect, anything that could tie me to being somebody dignified. I'm willing to give all that up if I can blow up in this industry. And it wasn't music, but in this particular industry, in this particular spot. And I felt bad because they seemed like a chill person, a cool person, cool kid, you know? But what they don't realize is what they said, it's going to travel with them. You know? It's going to travel with them whether, because like let's say this particular, and I'm trying to say this without revealing who it is, because I'm pretty sure some people may know them. But this gig they're doing now may not work. It might work, but it may not. You know what I'm saying? And you have an opportunity, you know, to get a degree and get a 9-to-5 that can sustain you while you do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But saying the stuff like they said the other day, it's gonna travel with them. Even when they if it doesn't work out and they try to get a job somewhere in the corporate sector, that stuff's gonna come up. You know what I'm saying? But people don't realize to get in these industries, yeah, you can get in and get a niche, you know what I'm saying, and make some money. But from everything I've heard from actors and actresses who have come out and talked about what it was like being in there, to music artists who have come out and said what it was like being in there, to wrestlers, to even some sports, you know, you'll be surprised at what you have to do. Yeah. But I just think it's odd to me that you would sign over your custody of your 15-year-old child to a celebrity, even if it's one that people know, like him, like Sean Combs. Even if it's someone like him. Like, honestly speaking, I wouldn't sign custody of my kid over to Donnie McClurkin or Kirk Franklin, and they're gospel singers. Like, no, I'm gonna make sure you have every opportunity open to you. You know, like, and yeah, you can always go back and get your GED, but still, I just think that's odd that you're gonna sign over the custody of your 15-year-old. I didn't know this about Bieber. Like he had custody of himself signed over to Usher, apparently, who was at P. Diddy's camp at 13. And he all but admitted on that talk show, wherever he was, that at 13 he had women coming up to him, doing and saying all kinds of things that a 13-year-old should not see or hear. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is coming out of these own people's mouths, bro. It's not something that somebody's making up.
Guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
Earlier in 2023,
so he's 15 years old and he's about to take a car out. What was so this was on this apparently this made the media, because I know Justin Bieber blew up. Like, I know he blew up because I was around when he blew up, when he first came on the scene. I think I was in high school when he first came on the scene. But he's 15 years old and he's admitted he's going to drive this car at 15. In most states in the U.S., in order to get a learner's permit, you need to be 16. And he's 15 and he's telling mainstream media, I'm going to drive this car. Ain't nobody's going to care about this?
Jamie Foxx was in London working on Cameron Diaz's comeback film, Back in Action, and on March 15th, production grinded to a halt with reports of Foxx having major meltdowns on set, firing production staff, and becoming unpopular. There were also strange rumors that Jamie was the target of a scam perpetrated by one of his staff members, in which he was somehow scammed out of $40,000. This occurred in mid-March of 2023, at the same time that production issues were flaring up for Back in Action, but it's unclear whether or not the two situations were connected. Allegedly, one of the staff that was fired was Jamie's own personal driver, so people started wondering if he was maybe the target of some kind of larger conspiracy to dismantle his life or cause him to start distrusting those around him. Like I said, a month after this crazy scam and these production issues and firing staff, he was in the hospital. On April 21st, 2023, reports surfaced that Foxx was awake and alert, but that hospital staff wanted to keep him at the hospital to, quote, keep his stress levels down, and wanted to make sure that he is perfectly stable once they do eventually release him. That kind of language making conspiracy theorists head spin, as it ties back to Kanye's forced hospitalizations and long-standing rumors of celebrities being programmed and mind-controlled. Rumors.
You want to know what's sad about this? In some ways, we as private citizens have a lot more leeway and leverage. Well, not leverage, but leeway and freedoms than millionaires, celebrities, A-list celebrities. Because you would be surprised how easy it is for me to be in the hospital and they'd be like, well, we want to keep you overnight, you know what I'm saying, to make sure your stress levels are down. You'll be surprised at how easy it is for me to say, no, I'm going home. And I get up out the bed and they can't stop me. But you would also be even more surprised at how difficult it is for a celebrity to do that. So you may say, well, why didn't Jamie Foxx just get up? If they were giving him all types of drugs and stuff, why didn't he just get up out the bed and go home? You'd be surprised. Again, dude, this industry machine, like the music and movie industry machine, there are a lot of nooks and crannies in there that you would be shocked about. You would absolutely be shocked about. And again, I can't tell you anything for 100% fact. All I can tell you is the experiences that the celebrities themselves mention. That's all I can say.
Began spreading from several different sources, some allegedly coming from inside the family. Some said that Foxx had suffered a stroke. Some said that he was experiencing complications from the COVID vaccine. A major theory going around the conspiracy boards at the time was that Diddy had somehow poisoned Jamie Foxx. At the same time that this whole mysterious illness thing was occurring.
Why would he do that though? Why would Diddy do that?
And it seemed like Jamie Foxx was being hid from the public eye. Netflix was promoting a new movie starring Jamie Foxx about cloning called They Cloned Tyrone. During the promotion of They Cloned Tyrone, reports that Jamie Foxx had miraculously recovered from this mystery illness began to spread, and he posted this video.
I didn't want you to see me with tubes running out of me and trying to figure out if I was gonna make it through. I went to and back.
Users quickly pointed out how incredibly different Jamie looked from before his hospitalization, and for a short time, the theory that he had been cloned took off. Since then, Jamie Foxx has shut down all conspiracy theories regarding his hospitalization. He eventually revealed he suffered a burst blood vessel in his brain, leading to a stroke and a fight for his life. He addressed much of the controversy in his special, What Happened Was.
The internet said that Puffy tried to kill me. I left them parties early. I was out by 9. Something don't look right. It's slippery in here.
So, what do you think? There have long been rumors about human cloning and celebrities being replaced, but I don't think that's quite what happened here. Jamie Foxx is worth somewhere around $200 million and is usually tied up in multiple big budget projects. In these situations, value is very much tied to perception. For high net worth individuals, especially those with active business ventures, endorsements, or ongoing creative projects, their market value is partly built on the assumption that they will keep producing, promoting, and leading. News of a potentially fatal illness can damage investor confidence, stall negotiations, or tank stock prices tied to their name. Studios, investors, and sponsors might pull out of deals if they think the person won't be around to fulfill their obligations. Even the rumor of severe illness can trigger contractual reviews. That's kind of what I think when I look at this situation, but let me know what you think in the comments below.
Alright, so I'll let you know what I think before we move on to the next one. There's only 4 minutes left. I will say this. It is interesting and a strange coincidence that Jamie Foxx was in a movie called They Cloned Tyrone. And all of a sudden, he goes into the hospital. He's in the hospital for a couple of days. And then he comes out, looking completely different. And it does fit the narrative of a clone situation. And believe it or not, if you look, there are some videos out there of these skin masks that you can get of celebrities that make you look exactly like them. Like it is skin tight, so when you put it on, the only reason we could tell it's a mask is because the eyes, your eyes just look a little sunken in when you have the mask on. But I will say this: when you get sick to the point where you have to go to the hospital and they have to keep you for a few days, that can cause weight loss, right? Like, you're not gonna look the same. You're gonna look different, because your body is constantly fighting to heal from whatever it is that is attacking it. In this case, he had a bunch of meltdowns with the staff, right? So he said he burst a blood vessel in his brain that caused a stroke. Probably from, getting so upset and shouting and fussing at people on set. And then he went to the hospital. And all you're really doing is laying down and trying to rest, So you're going to look a little different when you come back. Or when you get back into the public eye. If I recall correctly, he was out of the public eye for several weeks after it was reported that he went to the hospital. So he's definitely gonna look different when he comes back. I don't think he was cloned, because I've only read one article several decades ago, where China successfully cloned a sheep. But the issue was the sheep didn't last. They didn't live for longer than the clones. Didn't live longer than a couple of hours. So I don't think that we are at the point where we can clone a human and have its organs and stuff work like human organs do. I don't think we're at that point yet. So yeah, I think the weight loss and the different appearance is basically because he was sick. He was resting. You're not going to be eating 3 meals a day when you're resting. And you don't do your usual workout routine. He looks like he's somebody that works out or has a workout routine. And if you're not doing that constantly, yeah, you're going to lose weight. So that's what I think happened.
On the early, foggy morning of January 26, 2020, a helicopter crashed in the Calabasas area northwest of Los Angeles, killing 9 people. NBA superstar Kobe Bryant and his daughter
I think I'm familiar with this conspiracy theory. From what I saw, and this may not be it, but they were talking about Kobe was supposedly fighting some pharmaceutical companies legally, and he was winning, and so this happened. That was a conspiracy theory. I don't know if that's going to be the one they talk about here, though.
Gianna were among the victims. The sports world reeled in agony. Losing Kobe was an absolute tragedy, worsened exponentially by the fact that multiple young teenagers and their family members were lost, as the helicopter was on its way to the Mamba Sports Academy for a girls' basketball tournament. But in the aftermath of the crash, a strange conspiracy played out in the shadows. Corporations hurriedly closing files and obscuring data. Is it possible that Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash wasn't an accident, but sabotage? In the years leading up to the crash, Kobe was actually in a pretty heated legal battle with some...
Kobe shut down in Black Mamba legal battle, headed to trial with pharma company. Yeah, that's what I thought. Kobe uses new trick in battle to stop pharma company from using Black Mamba. Kobe Bryant's company battling New York City-based company over Mamba.
Extremely powerful pharmaceutical companies. The theory goes that he was suing Insys Therapeutics, High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, and Acorn Corporation for apparently lacing diet pills with opioid-like substances to make them more addictive. Like many theories we cover on the channel, there are little bits of truth sprinkled throughout the theory. Kobe was in a legal battle with High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, but it was over a trademark dispute. Kobe had been using the name Black Mamba for years on his various brands and products, and he had become embroiled in a legal struggle with High-Tech Pharmaceuticals because they had a supplement or diet pill that was also called Black Mamba. That supplement was being sold at GNC stores nationwide. And there's another wrinkle to the story. High-Tech Pharmaceuticals was also in a legal battle with the government over the inclusion of non-NDA approved ingredients in their supplements. Theorists also claim that Kobe knew of Sarah Fuller, a high-profile opioid death caused by the drug Subsys, a fentanyl spray, and that he included details about Subsys, the manufacturer Insys, and its founder John Kapoor in his lawsuit. The theory counts on Insys Therapeutics, High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, and Acorn Corporation all being owned by the same company, which they aren't. And his lawsuit wasn't with Insys, it was with High-Tech, so the theory almost immediately begins to fall apart. I couldn't find any ties between Kobe and Sarah Fuller, or any ties between him and John Kapoor. I believe this theory probably found life, because John Kapoor, the founder of Insys Therapeutics, was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison for his role in the opioid crisis just 3 days before Kobe's death. In reality, Kobe took nearly 10,000 helicopter flights in 15 years. And although they're still relatively safe, helicopters are 63 times more likely to have an accident than planes.
Are you kidding me? 63 times more likely to have an accident than an airplane? Me personally, I've only flown twice in my life. I've only flown an airplane twice. And my reason for that is if you get in a car accident, there's a possibility you could live. If you get into if your plane has a malfunction and you got a crash, 9 times out of 10, it's going to take a miracle for you to survive it. I feel anyway. And so that's why I don't fly. I don't fly anywhere. You know. And the only time I did fly was for work. I had to fly out for work. But I will never fly willingly unless God orders me to. Other than that, and that's only because I know He wouldn't tell me to get on the plane for me to die. You know what I'm saying?
Guys, thank you so much for watching another end.
And as for the whole Kobe situation, I doubt the pharmaceutical company would kill him over the name Black Mamba. Like you could definitely. It would probably call. Honestly speaking, it may. I don't know. But I feel like it would probably cost less to just change the name than to even continue to fight him in court over it. But I guess if they had it first, I don't know if they had it first or what. But one thing I do like about Parasite is, he doesn't just give you the rabbit hole. He lets you know, okay, this actually isn't true. Like you saw there, where they were saying in the conspiracy theory that he may have been connected to this girl who died with opioid-laced dietants or whatever. And he was like, well, I found no connection to that. And just because he found no connection to it does not mean there isn't one. But at the same time, it also doesn't mean that there is. But I think, I am at time. That is going to be it for me. Let me check. Let me check and see if I got time for another video. Yeah, I don't have time for another video. That's going to be it for me. And to those who make the videos, I do apologize if I seem harsh when I talk about the illogical behavior of main characters. It just irks my nerves that some things can be so easily avoided in horror movies, and they just don't. Like, it's almost. And I saw a skit once from Caleb City about how characters be in zombie movies where there's a clear way out, but they just have to die for plot's sake. And he's like, I'll hold off the zombies. You guys go. And they're like, well, the door is doing that all its own. You can just come with us. And he's like, no, I have to do this. And he opens the door and goes out there and gets killed instantly. Like, for example, the 1155 one. Now, don't get me wrong. The 1155 one, the plot too, doesn't make much sense to me. Although the plot kind of seems like this one story. I forget the name of it, but it was supposedly a true story. I don't know if it's true or if it's an urban legend or not, but it was a story of a woman who went to a gas station late at night, and she filled up with gas. She got in her car and she started to drive off, and this man followed behind her, and he was just laying on his horn. And she was like, why is he following me? Why is he following me? And she thought he was trying to do something, So she starts speeding up, and she calls the police, and the man's just blowing on his horns, beeping his horn. And so the police instruct her to go to the nearest police station, which she does. He pulls in behind her. Police come out. They check the guy. They're like, so what's the deal? And the guy tells him that there's a man hiding in her trunk. And they open the door, and surely enough, they open the trunk, and there's a guy in there with like stuff to hold somebody, like tape and stuff like that. And he had a weapon that he was going to use to knock her out. And he was I was trying to tell her that there was a guy in her trunk. And I think that may have been the angle they were going with 11:55 p.m. I could be wrong, but it seems like the guy in the hoodie kept ringing the bell to let her know, hey, there's somebody in your apartment, right? But that doesn't really make a lot of sense because you saw the whole apartment. There's not a lot of room in there. So I don't know how two people apparently got in there. I don't know. Somehow two people got in there and two people got it. One person was already in the apartment after the lights went off. One person showed up in the apartment while the other guy was looking in the camera. So I don't know. I don't know how one became two. They didn't really explain much either. So if I had to pick one, as far as like the shorts, again, I picked Out There. With this iceberg, I think the most chilling one in the iceberg for me was the dude in the first one that did the video and went to the concierge, and the guy was telling him how to get rid of children and a lawyer to silence children, and he sent it to the FBI, and the FBI was like, nah, we're not going to touch that. That would be terrifying to me, because then I'd be like, you know what, I stumbled across something I shouldn't have. I can see why the movie didn't air. I wouldn't have aired it either. Like, nah, I ain't touching that, fam. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, you guys know what to do. Stay blessed.